Wildlife at the water's edge. Bear and moose safe camping. Camping by a lake or river offers peace and beautiful views, but it can also put you close to wildlife like bears and moose. Both species often use shorelines for food, water, and cover, especially at certain times of day or seasons. Understanding animal behavior and following strict safety protocols is essential. This guide explains how to spot and avoid dawn-dusk traffic corridors, stay clear of moose calving zones, and prevent bears from being lured to camp. We cover proper food storage, scent management, fish cleaning, and bear spray usage, plus how to set up camp to maximize visibility and escape routes. We also advise on managing pets and reporting dangerous encounters. Every recommendation below is backed by wildlife experts and agencies to keep campers and animals safe. Animal behavior at lakes. Dawn and dusk activity. Many large mammals are most active at sunrise and sunset. For example, moose are active throughout the day with activity peaks during dawn and dusk, and can swim fast and travel swiftly to water sources. Deer, elk, and bear movement often follow similar crepuscular patterns. Animals use well-worn trails or shorelines as travel corridors when moving to feeding or resting areas. In practice, this means you should be especially alert at dawn and dusk. Plan walks or water outings so you're less likely to surprise wildlife during these peak times, and keep flashlights ready if returning to camp at dusk. Calving season, May-July. Late spring and early summer is calving season for moose and elk. A cow moose with a calf is extremely protective. These mothers often remain near water or willow thickets, places where calves hide. According to Alaska wildlife officials, moose are not usually aggressive, but cow moose and her calf have caused numerous injuries when people inadvertently come between them. In fact, Alaska Fish and Game notes that more people are injured by moose each year than by bears. For example, in Colorado's 2025 calving season, a man walking dogs was chased and stomped by a mother moose defending her twins. Always give moose a wide berth if you see a calf nearby, especially in May and June. Keep dogs leashed or leave them behind. Dogs often trigger moose attacks. See Pets and Wildlife below. Bear foraging along shores. Lakes, rivers, and coastal beaches can be rich feeding zones for bears. In spring and summer, bears graze shoreline grasses and aquatic plants. The Glacier Bay National Park notes that both brown, grizzly, and black bears are often seen grazing on shoreline grasses, sedges, and intertidal plants. At low tide, bears dig up mussels, barnacles, and even small fish in tidal pools. In late summer and fall, spawning salmon draws large concentrations of bears along streams and lake shores. Black bears in many regions also eat berries and fallen fruit along water margins. In short, if you camp near spawning streams or berry patches by a lake, expect bears foraging nearby. Keep an eye out for bear sign, tracks, scat, overturned logs along beaches, and avoid camping where bears follow game trails. Moose often enter wetlands and ponds to feed and escape insects. Research shows moose will wade into water to reach aquatic plants or to cool off from biting mosquitoes. They can sustain a 6-mile-per-hour swim and may cross lakes at night or dawn. If you see one moose wading, others may not be far. Be cautious when paddling or swimming. A cow moose may charge from the reeds if surprised. In dense cover near shorelines, willow or alder patches, assume moose could be grazing or lying hidden, and give the area a wide berth. Food storage and scent management. Wildlife, especially bears, are attracted by any human or pet food scent. The best defense is to make your camp odor-free. Follow these practices. Store all food and attractants properly. Use approved bear-resistant canisters or bear lockers whenever possible. Stores like national parks often loan these to campers. If hanging food, do so at least 10 feet high and 4 feet out from the trunk, too far for a bear to reach. Wherever you hang or place food containers, do it 100 feet, about 30 meters from your sleeping area. Store every scented item, food, garbage, coolers, toiletry kits, toothpaste, insect repellent, even trash, in your canister or hanging bag. Wildlife officials stress that food left out is the top reason bears are attracted to campsites. Separate camp zones. Set up distinct zones for sleeping, cooking, eating, and storage. separated by at least 60 to 100 meters, about 200 feet. If space is tight, place cooking and storage as far as possible from your tent. Cook and pack up meals before dusk, since bears roam campsites at night. After cooking, wash dishes immediately and store food away. Camp downwind. Put food in canisters downwind of where you sleep. This minimizes attracting animals into camp by scent. Also avoid cooking directly under your sleeping tent or anywhere that can smoke into it. Gear hygiene. Wash all cooking gear and trash. Clean pots, utensils, and coolers thoroughly after meals. Even traces of grease can attract bears. Bearwise advises washing dishes away from the tent and drying them in the cooking area, not in sleeping tents. Strain wash water, e.g. from veggies or spoons, through a fine strainer, and scatter the liquid at least 70 to 100 feet from camp. Pack out solid food scraps and rinse water left from cooking. Never burn food or grease in the campfire. Odors linger in ash and can lure bears. Scent reduction. Keep all scents out of your tent. This means no food, scented lip balm, deodorant, insect repellent, toothpaste, etc. in sleeping bags or tents. After cooking or eating, change clothes and rinse off before entering your sleeping area. Store cooking-smelling clothes in your bear canister or hung with food. Wyoming wildlife officials summarize it well. A safe campsite does not attract bears with food or other attractants like beverages, toiletries, coolers, or pet food. Follow these rules strictly. A single mistake can make wildlife start viewing camps as food sources, often with tragic results. Fish cleaning and waste disposal. Fishing near your camp adds extra risk. Fish waste strongly attracts bears. Both U.S. and Canadian agencies list fish and fish guts as prime bear attractants. To stay safe, kill and bleed immediately. If you hook a fish, finish it quickly. Alaska Fish and Game advises bleeding caught fish in the water at once to remove blood. This not only improves meat quality, but keeps blood out of the air. Keep catch secure. Store your catch in a bear-proof container or on ice. If you must use a stringer, keep it immersed and close to you at all times. Never leave fish on shore or in the open. Bears may be drawn by even a small trail of scent. Pack out or bury offal. Do not leave guts or scales at camp or on the beach. Seal fish waste in a robust plastic bag and carry it out with your trash, or bury scraps well, 8+ inches deep, at least 100 yards from camp and any water. Even buried, odor can persist, so carrying it out is safest. Bearwise's motto for anglers is "Fish remains attract bears. Stop, chop, and throw," meaning any waste should be destroyed or removed. Avoid fishing near camp. If a bear appears while you're fishing, often indicated by disturbance in the water, back away from water calmly and net your gear. As Fish and Game warns, if a bear is near enough to notice splashing, stop fishing. Give the bear plenty of space, at least 50 to 100 yards, before resuming. Treat fish cleaning with as much care as cooking. Grid your campsite so the cleaning station is far from your tent and downwind. Afterward, wash the knife and board thoroughly and pack those scraps out. In summary, leave no trace of your catch. Park officials emphasize that even tiny fish guts can travel odor-wise for kilometers, so don't underestimate the risk. Bear spray and situational awareness. Bear spray, a high-strength capsaicin aerosol, is the single most effective deterrent in a close bear encounter. But it must be used correctly. Carry it accessibly. Always keep your bear spray on your body, in a quick-release holster or high belt pouch, never buried in a pack. In wildlife areas, especially grizzly country, every member of the group should carry spray. Check the expiration date before your trip and make sure the safety cap is on during travel. Know the range. Modern bear sprays project a cloud about 25 to 40 feet, 8 to 12 meters. To stop a charging bear, NPS advises deploying at about 50 to 60 feet, 15 to 18 meters if it's running fast, or when the bear enters the canister's rated range if it's approaching more slowly. The idea is to create a wall of spray between you and the bear. How to use it. Remove the safety clip. Point the nozzle downwind and aim at the bear's face. Use short bursts, 1 to 2 seconds, to fill the space in front of the bear with mist. Fire multiple bursts as needed until the bear retreats. Once a bear starts to back off, quickly move away. Do not continue to linger. Be mindful of wind and rain. Strong wind can blow the spray away or back at you, so be prepared to alternate your position. When to use it? Bear spray is a last resort after trying non-confrontational measures. The Denali NPS stresses that spray should only be used if a bear is charging aggressively. If a bear just notices you at a distance, back away slowly, keeping the bear in view, and do not run. However, if a bear clearly charges or charges you rather than bluffing, deploy the spray as indicated. Remember, bear spray is non-lethal, causing temporary intense coughing and tearing in the bear, usually enough to halt an attack. It will not kill or permanently harm the bear. Do not spray people or your gear with it. The residue may ironically attract bears. Aside from carrying spray, maintain constant awareness around water. Before setting out on a walk or fishing trip, survey the area. Wear bells or talk. Do not stalk silently when visibility is low, especially at stream crossings or blind corners. Practice a roar or alarm calling routine with your group so everyone knows what to do if a bear appears. In camp, if any bear comes near, watch bear-wise advice. Stand tall, talk loudly, no screaming, wave arms, and back away slowly while facing the bear. Stack the idea that bears don't like to be cornered. Always give a bear an escape route. And remember, never run from a bear. This can trigger pursuit. Instead, if you have time, slowly retreat to safe cover. Drills. Before camping, run a quick safety drill. Have one person shout "bear" from a distance. Each camper should reach for their spray, back away together, and form a semicircle. A second drill could be stumbling on a simulated cub. Practice calmly uncoupling if needed. The key is muscle memory. You want grabbing spray and sounding a warning to become an automatic response. Rehearse calm, loud speech. Example, "Hey bear," in a firm low tone, so in a real event you help diffuse the situation. These exercises build the habit of awareness and coordinated response. Campsite placement and layout. Where you pitch your tent can greatly improve safety. Clear sightlines. Choose a site with a good view of the lake and surrounding area so you can spot wildlife approaching. An open area, example a flat meadow edge, is preferable to dense forest. Avoid camp spots in gullies or blind corners. Wrangle St. Elias NP reminds campers, if the bear came by, can a bear walk by and pass my campsite unhindered? If the answer is no, if your camp blocks the obvious path, pick another spot. In other words, do not trap a bear between you and the lake or trees. Also plan an escape path out of camp. Know which direction to move, uphill or to another camp area, if a charging moose or bear appears. Away from trails and valleys. Never camp well within animal travel corridors. Do not camp on game trails, paved trails, or narrow beaches that a bear might use as a shortcut. Similarly, avoid valley bottoms or lakeshore marshes where moose or elk routinely travel. If you must be near water, stay a moderate distance back. For example, 100 yards out on shore is common advice. The NPS specifically warns against camping in wildlife travel corridors, example riverbanks and trails. High ground and obstacles. If possible, camp on slightly higher ground, example a gentle knoll or raised beach bench. This gives a vantage point. Look for natural barriers, large rocks or cedar clusters that might funnel large animals away or give you cover. As a rule, keep your tent at least 100 yards from cooking and storage, and ideally off the main beach line. For example, Alaska parks advise cooking as close to water as possible so that water can wash away spills, and tenting above the high tide line. Just ensure there's enough ground to safely run if needed. Tent timing. A useful tip from Alaska guides is to pitch tents after dinner and before breakfast, i.e., set up camp after cooking and break it down before the next meal. This way your tent and bedding never have cooking odors and all gear stays with you while you cook. Avoid berry patches. If berries or nut crops are ripe, bears may be nearby. Avoid camping in dense berry patches or feeding grounds. Check for bear signs. Before settling, look for fresh bear scat or tracks, berries, seeds, and scat often. A few tracks are not a reason to flee, but a lot of trails or scat suggests heavy use. If you find obvious bear beds or rub trees, choose another site. By positioning camp with good sight lines and an unobstructed escape lane, you significantly improve everyone's reaction time. Always ask, can I see far across the water? Can a charging animal break through easily? If not, reconsider the layout. Managing pets in bear country, dogs at camp can complicate wildlife safety tremendously. Even a small dog can attract predators or provoke large animals. Experienced authorities advise keep dogs on a leash or leave them home. Unleashed dogs may bark at, chase, or corner a bear or moose, triggering an attack. In the Colorado moose incident, the presence of dogs was a factor. Wildlife officers note the vast majority of incidents between a human and moose involves dogs in some way because moose see them as predators. When camping, leash by default. Park regulations in bear moose country often require dogs on a max 6-foot leash. Even if not legally required, assume pets should be under tight control at all times. Nighttime. At night, sleep with your pet inside your tent or a secure trailer or vehicle. But remember that dogs carry scent too. Food or treats for the dog should be stored like any other attractant. Feeding pets. Never leave pet food outside. After feeding, promptly put away bowls and scraps. Treat pet kibble or leftovers the same as human food. Watch sleep. Dogs sometimes bark at wildlife shadows. A scared dog might aggravate a defensive bear or moose. Keep them calm and near you. By keeping pets close and controlled, you protect both them and yourself. An off-leash pet not only risks fighting a bear or being hurt, but also puts you in danger as you intervene. For tip-offs on local leash laws and closures, check Park or Forest Service rules before you go. Region-specific notes. Different areas have different wildlife and rules. Alaska and northern Canada. Here both brown, grizzly, and black bears are common. Salmon runs and intertidal zones see heavy bear use. Carry bear spray at all times and use bear-proof canisters. Alaska often requires them in backcountry. Moose are abundant. Remember that more Alaskans are injured by moose than bears. In coastal zones, example Glacier Bay, Kenai Peninsula, follow tidal guidelines. Cook below high tide and stow above it, as bears feed on beach life. Always inform yourself of any local wildlife advisories. For example, the Alaska Fish and Game site lets you report conflicts and will warn if specific bears are trouble. Rocky Mountains, Wyoming, Colorado, Canada. Grizzlies range in parts. Yellowstone, Grand Teton, Banff, Kootenai, etc. In grizzly country, treat every bear encounter as high stakes. Carry spray, make noise on trails, and use manufacturer-certified canisters. Costco. Colorado Parks and Wildlife warns hikers explicitly about moose and elk in loose subdivisions and camp areas where calving congregations have grown. Higher elevations often have elk, pony, moose at dawn dusk. Practice extra caution on alpine lakes. Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, coastal BC. Black bears predominate, some grizzlies in BC interior. Coastal salmon runs still draw bears. Washington's Fish and Wildlife suggests dialing 911 for any aggressive wildlife and provides a 24/7 hotline, 877-933-9847, for non-emergencies. In Washington forests, storing food in bear lockers or hung is often required in front country sites. Northern Midwest and New England, primarily black bears. Moose exist in states like Minnesota, Maine, and Vermont. In these regions, moose are less wooded, but still treat calves cautiously, especially Maine where moose run free. The general storage and spray rules apply. Rural state wildlife agencies, e.g. Michigan DNR, Ontario MNR, often have websites or phone lines to report aggressive bear sightings. Before any trip, check local guidelines. Some parks ban firearms requiring spray. Some national forests have strict food storage rules. Regulations can vary, e.g., In Glacier Bay, NP, all food must be in a canister or hung 100 feet from camp, whereas some national forests simply recommend it. Wherever you go, the goal is the same: leave no enticement for wildlife. Reporting aggressive wildlife. If you do have a close call or see a dangerous animal, bear or moose, behaving unusually, report it. Immediate threat. If a bear or moose is actively threatening you or others, call emergency services, 911 in US and Canada. Safety is priority. Get help and keep others safe. Non-emergency sighting. Many wildlife agencies ask campers to report conflicts. For example, Alaska's Fish and Game has an online report wildlife encounters portal to log aggressive or injured animals. Washington State's Fish and Wildlife provides a hotline, 877-933-9847, an online forum for non-emergency dangerous wildlife situations. Parks Canada asks citizens to inform authorities if a bear or cougar is showing no fear of humans or repeatedly foraging in communities. Reporting helps wildlife managers monitor problem animals. If a bear becomes food-conditioned and dangerous, wildlife officers may euthanize it. Timely reports can prevent harm and protect other campers. Keep notes or photos from a safe distance of the animal, location, and behavior. Check the website or visitor center of the national park or forest you're in. They often have specific reporting protocols and may issue alerts for campers. Conclusion: camping at the water's edge is a highlight of the wilderness experience, but it requires extra vigilance. By understanding when and why bears and moose use shoreline areas, properly storing food and scents, cleaning fish carefully, carrying and practicing with bear spray, and positioning your camp wisely, you greatly reduce the risk of dangerous encounters. Keep pets close and always respect wildlife space, especially near calves or fishing runs. If you do see aggressive behavior, report it to rangers or wildlife authorities. These practices, drawn from bear science and park guidelines, help keep both you and the animals safe. With preparation, you can enjoy the beauty of lakeside camping while coexisting responsibly with bears, moose, and other wildlife. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at boondocking.tips/blog. Thanks for listening. For more research-driven boondocking guides, off-grid camping tips, RV travel advice, and van life strategies, visit boondocking.tips. That's boondocking.tips for the full written research and new camping updates.